Hello. So this time we're gonna do we're gonna do an add-on car, which I have never done before. I think I have sort of figured out how to do it through a few tests. So I'm gonna try to do this and record at the same time. I've already done two cars as add-ons. Both have worked, so I'm having hopes for this one. I'm going to be providing download links for all the add-on cars I'm currently using, which are 3 with this one. So open this up, the first step. It's going to be a long process because adding cars is different from replacing. Well, not that different, but you have replacements, or you have vehicle mods to deal with as well, and XML files. First, we want to drag the original folder out of the zip folder because we're not going to be using this anymore. So here we have the original folder, and if you're doing add-ons, you should have the DLC.rpf file. This is what we're going to access all the car files. First of all, the one I downloaded, which is this 1970s Dodge Charger from Furious 7, we have a script for this, which should be right here. So we have scripts and working.cs. I'm not sure if this is where this goes, but I'm going to do my best. And if it doesn't work, we'll correct in the description where everything goes. So you don't have to remember the spawn name, because the only spawn name we have to worry about is the actual one in the stream folder, which is not going to be Dodge RT70. But you want to download OpenIV or Open4 or Open5, so you can actually open these kinds of archives, which are RPF files. And it should take a few seconds to load in, depending on your processor and all that. So in here we have a few common files that we need. We need all of these files except for the folders. So let's go to the FiveM folder. I'm going to delete some of these because I do not need them. There we go. So let's put this over here, and here we go. So in our FiveM folder, which is in the C drive for me, you have to put them in the main drive, otherwise these don't seem to work. We go to the CFX folder, the resources, and then our add-ons. I have my structural as single cars as replacements, police as police cars, and then add-ons as cars that are add-ons essentially. So make a folder in here, the base folder, and I'm gonna call this, what was the name again? Dodge Charger 1970, or just do 70. DC70, that will work fine. Remember the name of it, and I'm going to copy the resource.lua. Actually, I don't need to do that. So make a new folder in here, or a new text document. I'm sorry. Call it double underscore resource.lua, which is just going through the basics again to make sure everyone understands. And then you want to add the resource.underscore manifest version thing. I'm not entirely sure what this does still, but you know. Then the files, and then the obvious methods. So don't touch this for now. I'm gonna go ahead and do data underscore file and then leave it at this. Client underscore script equal underscore names.lua. For now, don't touch this because we do not have any files to render for now. So I'm gonna minimize this and make a new folder in here. A folder this time, call it stream. This is just a basic procedure to make sure everyone understands. Drag the 2 XML files. There should only be 2. If there are 3, drag all of them in because the XML files go into the same stream folder as the car mod do. So next, go to common, data, and all of these should be in here. And I have accounted for all of these so I know what they're going to be called in the resource.lua. In the x64 folder, you should find data, which you do not need to touch. It's basically just the DLC.rpf for the language. We don't need that. So go back to levels, GTA 5, and vehicles.rpf. This is the name you want to pay attention to. So we know the folder name is the one that we're going to be calling in the server CFG folder. But the RT70, the YFT file, is what we're going to be using when we're spawning the car in. And we want to drag these files into the stream folder. Now you may find another folder in levels, which is called something else, which is vehicle mods. All of the files inside the vehicle mods.rpf you want to drag into the same folder as the stream, as the original car right here. And now now that we have all these, we do not need to worry about these. Instead, we go back to DC70, we accidentally put the meta files in here, so the meta files go into the base folder. So I drag these in here. In the research Lua folder, let's open this up again. I think it's this one. So in files, we want to do tab and then 2 apostrophes and then a comma, and just repeat this until we have 4 of these. And that should do it. So add a comma after all these to add another one to it. And then here you just type in the file names, which shouldn't be that hard. It's just to copy the names. You can also copy and paste, but that takes too long for me. DLC text, make sure you get all the meta files with you. If you don't, then something may fuck up. I've had that happen before a lot of times. In a data file, the first section is to describe the name. I think that's what it does. And the second name is the name again. So for handling, it's under handling underscore file. It's a bit obvious, and then handling.meta file, data underscore file, and for the vehicles.meta, it is vehicle underscore metadata, and then file. Sorry, my English is quite terrible. I try. And the name, and you just repeat this. Sorry about that. You just repeat this over and over again. However, all of these different files have different descriptions. So car variations, for example, has vehicle. Nope, I fucked it up. Vehicle underscore variation underscore file. Then vehicle. Oops. Car variations. I only know of the ones I'm typing right now, including vehicle layouts. These are the only ones I personally know. I do not know if there are any more, but if there are, feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll add them to my next description. So vehicles and car variations and DLC text. DLC text requires nothing else, I'm sure of so far, because I haven't had to add anything to it. And also make sure you do not miss anything. Now that you have all these added, make sure to double check everything so nothing is missing. For example, I'm missing comma, which I had in my last one. So we don't seem to have any error. Do not use a comma on the last file over here, otherwise it will fuck up because it thinks you're adding a new file. And make sure the data underscore file has the description and then the actual file name in the same structure. So once we have this, we should be fine. Now go back to the CFX folder. Make sure you remember the folder name, DC70. Open the server CFG and go to Addon cars, or this is just my section, hashtag Addon cars. Start DC70 and just save the file and open your server again. So I will see you there. So as you can see here, we have the DC70 above, and it said start a resource, and it did not say did not find resource. If it says did not find resource, go back to your resources and check for the server CFG. If you have it in here and it still says doesn't start resource, make sure you have the folder properly set up, make sure the files are set up, and make sure your resource.lua looks the way it should do. If everything is correct, either you have done a mistake in the Lua file, even though I said to double check it, which I did a mistake once. But everything here is properly set up and the stream has everything in it. If you have vehicle mods, make sure to add them in the same folder as everything, the car itself and the XML files. If everything here is set up properly, remember the RT70 name. So once you're in game here, the video accidentally quit, so I had to re-record it, but here I am, and we have the new car. And what I did was I went to vehicles, vehicle spawner, you spawn vehicle by name, and then RT70. By the first time you spawn a car that is an add-on or a plane or a vehicle, any kind of vehicle, pet or object, they all work the same. They all have the same method of adding the thing in. Spawning is the same thing too. But once you spawn it in, it should take a few seconds to load because you're essentially downloading the vehicle files from the server itself. And usually if the server is in another country, it should take a few seconds depending on your internet speed, and that's nothing to worry about. However, if it does say it could not find the vehicle model, either you input the wrong model name and need to go back to check the stream folder, or the vehicle is simply improperly added in the server itself, or the mod maker simply fucked up in the installation of it. If it did, however, work, all should be well, and this one did well for me, as instructed in the video, because we already have it right here. And since this was my first attempt at making or installing this car, if you follow the instructions very carefully, you will get it to work. I already have about 4 to 5 add-on cars, and I've done the same method for them, and they have worked just fine. So, hope you enjoy the video, and hopefully you found this hopefully you found this useful. And to make sure to make I fucked it up. To make sure that you know exactly how to do this, the method for installing add-on cars is the same for add-on peds, add-on helicopters, add-on planes. Any vehicle, ped, or model has the same installation process, which goes for the same for replacements and add-ons, except for replacements you only add the actual vanilla card in, while for add-ons you add the extra vehicle mods and the content XML files. So I know that was a lot to take in, but now that you know how to do it, hopefully you can do it on your own. Thank you for watching, and yeah, peace out.